Oh,
Get up on the floor and get
filth.
sex, pills, space and thrill. This is how we like to party.
Today we're going to be producing house music in the style of Dom Dolla, and that's because a few of you asked for it in the YouTube poll last week, and one of our Accelerator students requested it the other day. Speaking of Accelerator students who specialise in tech house, Cizzzla DJ'd at the Ministry of Sound again a few days ago, and Leopard Step has just released a new track, and he's released about 60 in the last year and a half. It's pretty incredible. So you can check those out below. Today we're going to go into everything that makes up that Dom Dolla sound, including the kick and bass, and how important it is to have a simple idea that works well, choosing and processing vocals, mixing, arrangement, and a whole bunch more. As usual, you can download the project file, all the samples completely free, so without further ado, let's hop into the door and get it done. I'm going to make some music today, and you are very welcome to join me. I'm going to stick 134 as the BPM, because I'm going for that more modern style that he's doing, and then first thing I'm going to do is get a kick. Gotta get a kick on there. Let's go to my favorite. I'm going to go for Will Kick 3 because it's awesome. And then I'm just going to put it in on every beat like so. Now my nose is itching. I hope I don't have to scratch it too much. Bang. Done. Finished. Okay, next thing we need to do is get a saucy little vocal because, aka the Dominator, he uses cheeky vocal hooks, and I found one on Splice.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to.
Going on about sex and pills. All the good stuff, really. Not too much, mind. So let's download that in my library. Let's bring it in. There we go. And first thing we need to do is make sure that this is all synced up to our project. And if you download something from Splice or Loop Cloud, it usually says the BPM of the stem there, of the sample. So it's 126 BPM. I can just put that in here. Boom. Bob's your uncle. And now it's all warped up. And we just have to make sure that it's hitting at the right point.
Sex, pills.
So that's kind of the beginning of the line there. So let's just drag everything over, and then we're going to work from that point. So then we can have the first beat like there. Okay, that sounds about right.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty.
Okay, if you insist, let's do that. Let me furnish your ability to do that by creating an absolute filth banger. So next thing I'm going to do is color this purple, the natural color of the human throat, like so. And the next thing we need to do is take that down and add a little bit of sidechain bounce so it dances around the kick drum. So I've got my sidechain trigger track, which is just a short, sharp rim shot, and I've got it set to sends only, so we're never actually going to hear that. But what it allows us to do is use a sidechain compressor, like so, and then duck the vocals from that sidechain input. And because it's a very short, sharp sample instead of a kick drum, all of the control comes from the attack and the release on the compressor.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty.
Nice. Okay, next thing we need to do is look at my magic list, and it says bass, FM bass. I'm going to use just the samples and presets, not the samples, I'll just use the presets and tools from within Ableton. So that means I'm going to use Wavetable for this. So let's get it on there. Get on there, boy. And this vocal is in the key of G minor. We can see it says here, G min. So that means we're just going to write our track in G minor. That keeps things simple. So I'm going to write this bass line all on the root note of the track, because Dom Dolla's music is really groovy and quite simple and stripped back. And then that allows him to do really cool things, which I'm going to show you in a few minutes with the stereo field and other stuff like that. But let's just get our bass line in there first. And we're just going to get something that kind of skips along nicely. Dun 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 dun, like that. I might have to turn that down. So nothing too complex. Just going da 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 da, which means we need to add a little bit of shuffle to this, a little bit of swing to get it grooving a bit better. This is how we like to. I quite like that. Just all on the root note, which is the G. In fact, let's put scale mode on and hit G minor, and then we can see that all of these notes are obviously within the scale of G minor. So let's start developing this bass sound to make it not absolutely completely gash, which it currently is. So first thing I'm going to do is just create a bit more of that plucky shape. Ooh, square wave sounds cool. I'll go for saw, and then I'm going to shape a second oscillator and assign that to the filter cutoff point. So then we can have this kind of effect. Add some drive and some resonance. And I'll just shape the amp envelope a bit as well to tighten it up a bit. Let's put it down an octave. That's better. And now we're going to do something very cool and add some stereo width to this. But will, I hear you cry, what about stereo bass? Don't you run into phase cancellation issues? And my answer to you would be yes. So I'm going to have a separate sub bass like this. Let's just listen to that on its own. And all I'm going to do is roll off the high frequencies for this at about 100 Hertz or 120 Hertz. We're just looking for that fundamental frequency here. So we can roll a bit lower than that. We just want that really subby thump. And now on our mid bass, we'll do the opposite. We'll roll off at about 100 Hertz again, but just the low end this time. So now we've got this effect. And we can add some stereo width to that. Sounds really nice and wide. And now with the sub bass, we've got something that sounds lovely and fat. So let's just group those together like that. Bish, bash, and indeed, bosh. And then we are going to color this yellow as well, because it's bass, or maybe orange, so I can see it's a group. And then we're going to put a sidechain compressor on there as well. Just copy and paste the same one to keep it quick. Boom. So now it really dances around the kick. There we go. Let's add a little bit of room reverb to that top bass. No, don't like you. All right, next thing we're going to do is add some kind of FM texture to this bass. So what I'm going to do is open up this control here so we can have a look at what's going on. And I'm just going to add some of this FM warp. And let's have that assigned to the envelope as well, which is going to be, and then we can see that same envelope is actually controlling that warp amount as well. Cool. Just a little bit more texture to that bass. All right, next thing we need to do is check the magic list, add that swing. So I'm going to go and hit the groove pool, which Ableton annoyingly named groove when everyone else calls it swing, but whatever. I can deal with it. And then instead of going da 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 da, we're going to have it go da 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 da, like it's galloping. So that is the swing. So we need to assign that to everything that's going to be playing something rhythmic. We don't need to assign it to the kick because that's just hitting it on the 4/4 anyway, so there's no swing going to be applied. But we do need to apply it to both the bass lines, and I'm going to leave it off the vocals as well, and that's because we can actually adjust the vocal timing manually by moving the warp master by moving the warp markers if we like. So let's have a listen now. Yes. I'm just going to tone that down a bit, the timing, so it's not got quite so much swing. That's cool. Now we want to keep the vocals kind of stripped back.
This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party.
All right, love, calm down. I know you've told me. I appreciate that. You know, I get where you're coming from, but just, you know, calm yourself down. Right, next thing we need to do is add a utility, because I want to just bring in the stereo field of the vocals a little bit, so we can actually do something very cool in a few short minutes. But it can only work if we take down the stereo width of this vocal first. So it's kind of more mono. Okay, I just can't keep listening to that over and over again. We need to name this, don't we? Okay, Dom Dolla. Dom Dolla. You don't get many of those to the dollar. Let's call this sound as a pound. Sound as a pound. There we go. And next thing we want to do is get a hi-hat in there. At least I think that's what we need to do. Yeah, that's what we need to do. And then I'm going to show you something very cool indeed with these vocals. So we're going to keep to that stripped back vibe. Like a lot of Dom Dolla's slower tempo stuff has got really nice, tight, crispy tech house beats, but we're going to kind of go with the flow into this more techno type vibe. So we don't even have a clap that we're going to use in this track. We're just going to stick to that hi-hat and ride cymbal, which is more common if you're producing techno. House would usually have a clap or a snare in there as well. So let's use a real sounding hat that sounds like absolute silence. And then we're just going to put this on the hat position in between every kick, like so. And I want to make sure that the hat closes down when the MIDI note ends. Like a real hat, you don't control real hats with MIDI notes, come on Will, you know this. But what you would have with a hat is you take your foot off it and it closes down. So I'm just going to make sure the sustain is full and release is set really low. So it goes tss, and then closes off straight away. Anyway, stop waffling, Will.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills,
And I'll
bass and thrill.
start the sample a bit early,
Sex, pills,
so it's tighter.
sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty.
And I'm just going to EQ that a little bit.
This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill.
And then I'm going to layer that up with a ride cymbal, ride on time. And that is what I'm going to do. So let's find the ride cymbal. That one will do. Oh, no, that's good. I'll use that because it sounds weird. And I don't know why that makes me want to use it, but it does because I'm feeling weird today. So let's just layer that up. It only has to be quiet, and we're just going to bring it in for some added texture.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex,
And again,
pills, bass
make
and
sure
thrill.
that
Get up on the floor and get
the
naughty.
release is
Sex,
down.
pills, sex, pills, bass and
So it
thrill.
stops straight
This
away.
is
Cool. Okay, on to the next thing. And that is doing something very cool with the vocals. And we're going to create a harmony. So I'm going to duplicate this and just look at how simple this is. Like it's got barely any elements, but the thing that makes it good, I think it's good anyway, is having a really hooky vocal and then a groove that works with that. And if you can get something that works with just the kick, the bass and the main hook, be that vocal or synth, and you've got like 3 elements and it's already making you want to dance, that's a good sign. So I'm going to create this vocal harmony. I'm going to duplicate the vocal. Let's call it hum, like so. And then let's see, can we do this just with the Ableton plugins?
sex, pills,
I mean, we could, if we could be bothered, but what I'm going to do instead is just for speed, I'm going to use a third-party plugin. I'm going to use Waves Tune just to get all of this on one note. I could do it by cutting up this vocal into separate sections and tuning every single section within this control here with pitch. But, you know, as I said, life's too short. So what we're going to do is use Waves Tune. I've got auto tune as well. Anyway, Waves Tune real time. Let's get that on there. And what we're going to do is just force this vocal to all be sung on one note. So at the moment,
sex, pills, bass
it's
and
going all
thrill.
over the place.
This is how we like to party.
So let's make it really responsive.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill.
And this is how we can work out which harmony there should be. If we go to our scale like this, G, which is G scale of G minor, the harmony would usually be like on the 3rd position, 1, 2, 3, or the 5th position, the perfect 5th. And I think the 5th is probably going to sound stronger, but we can try them both. So the 5th is going to be D. So that's 5 scale positions up from G. And if you want music theory knowledge, then you can get my music theory for EDM producers course. But assuming that you kind of get the basics of scales and whatnot, let's just assign this vocal to be hitting the B.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill.
So what I'm going to do is just basically push everything. I'm going to use these funny little things to force the vocals to be hitting B, like so.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like
And
to
let's see if
party.
that works.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty.
Maybe the
Sex,
3rd would be
pills,
better.
bass and-
So the 3rd would be, let's double check. G, B flat. What are you doing, Will? You're a nutter. I think you're hitting the wrong note.
Sex, pills, space and thrill. Get up on the floor and get sex, pills, space and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, space
1, 2, 3.
and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, space and thrill.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Sex, pills, space and thrill. Get up on the floor and get sex, pills, space.
Okay, next thing I want to do is get these vocals really sounding cool. So I'm going to process them together like this. A slightly darker throat color. In fact, I can have the sidechain bounce just at the group level, the sidechain compressor, and that's going to save us some processing power, like so.
Sex, pills, space and thrill. Get up on sex.
What did I do? I did the bad thing. There we go.
Space and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, space and thrill. Get up.
But this one, I'm going to let the width be full width, 100% width. And that's so the harmonies are really spread out wide. And then let's take out some of the low frequencies, just to keep our mix clean. And our main vocals.
Sex, pills, space and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, space and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, space and thrill. This is how we like to party.
Now, to get this all gelled together, what I'm going to do is compress these vocals together to really get them, like we've already got the sidechain compressor. We're actually going to compress them with a glue compressor beforehand, and that's just to gel them all together a bit, like so.
Sex, pills, space and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, space and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty.
So this is off.
Pills, space and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, space and thrill.
It's just gelling them together. And the last thing I want to show you, which I think is really cool, is we're going to actually use something that I don't use very often. So let's use that. It's going to be a phaser and a flanger. So this is just going to add some really cool stereo effects to these vocals.
Sex, pills, space and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, space and thrill.
We'll set it to flanger.
On the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, space and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, space and thrill. Get up.
And then we can just decide how much we want to send through.
This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, space and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, space and thrill. This is how we like to party.
And then a little bit of room reverb.
Get up on the floor and get sex, pills, space and
nice and tight.
This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, space and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, space and thrill. This is
cool.
How we
okay. Right. Next thing we need to do is look at my magic list, and then we're going to create some interesting synths to dance around this. So we are going to create a MIDI channel. Let's call this Beal, like Ali. Belly, like some approximation of an Italian word, and then another one which we're going to call Squeaky synth, like that, and you'll hear why in a minute. And then we are going to, may as well just get them all in. We're going to also have an intro synth, which is going to create some really cool effect, and then a riser as well, which is going to be a bit like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Summertime, a bit like that. Let's all color these cyan. Color them all cyan, the natural color of synths. And then I'm going to go and put a wavetable on there, like so. And we're going to go for the bell synth first. So I'm going to immediately delete that wavetable. I'm going to chastise myself for my idiocy. And then I'm going to put the correct synth on. And the correct synth is Collision. And that's... So I want that a kind of bell sound. Marimba, how jolly. Let's use that. Now let's program in a little riff, a cheeky little ditty. Again, I'm going to go hit G minor natural, like so, boom. And then we need to speed this up, don't we? Hit scale mode.
Space and thrill. This is how we like to party.
So it's going to be really simple. That's pretty much it for that riff. And then we're going to screw this sound up with the Redux, and that's a bit crusher. And this is a really great way to add more harmonics to a sound, much like a saturator. You'll hear what it does. It really kind of makes it pop through the mix. So we'll get the Redux on there, like so. Check this out. You can really hear that resonant note now.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party.
Okay, let's feed that out to some hall reverb.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill.
Tighten this up a bit.
Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, bass and thrill.
And now what we want to do is create a delay as well to get that really kind of filling out the mix. Another thing that Dom Dolla does is use good and careful delay and reverb, because he has relatively few elements in his tracks. So then you want to make sure that you are using those properly and having them fill out the track and have it sound kind of cohesive. So that's why I'm going to add some delay to this.
Sex, pills, bass and
Like so. Probably.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex,
Okay.
pills, bass and thrill.
Cool. Next thing we want to do is add that squeaky synth, and you'll notice how you can actually have things be quite simple. Yeah, this isn't the full mix yet. We will be getting to the mix in a little while. You don't need to have 100 different plugins on to make something that sounds cool. But by selecting the right sounds and by processing them carefully and intentionally, you can create something that sounds pretty cool without that much going on. So let's do squeaky synth. Let's just call it squeaky. And we're going to create like a cool and response type effect with those two synths. So we'll just repeat that, and then we are going to use some portamento to blend those together, and that would be classed as glide in Ableton. But it kind of means the same thing. So we'll switch it to mono, and then we'll use this glide. So it's now going boom, like a little cheeky little pitch bend, and then I want to make this sound squeakier, because that's a saw wave, and that's pretty cool. But if I warp it and fold it a little bit, it can sound cool. So it gives it a little bit more character. Okay, cool. Next thing we want to do is the intro synth. And this is just going to be a little incidental synth that hits at the beginning of a bar. And that's going to create some reverb delayed sound that just is a bit more interesting than a cymbal crash, basically. So I'll get a wavetable on there as well. And boom, that's the noise it's going to be, identical too. So let's put the MIDI pitch bend to 12. I don't know what I'm doing. Pitch bend, here we go, 12. So if we set it to 12 and we do a full pitch bend range within here, it's always going to sound good because it's going to do it by a whole octave each time. So it's going to sound, if you hit the root note, it's going to sound good every time. It's good because it's going to go from a G down to another G. Like so. That's a bit too long though, so let's make the pitch bend quicker. Like that. Cool. And now let's make that sound not suck as well. Let's make it a bit shorter. Like so. And then I want to create some more movement to that too. So what I'm going to do is create an envelope, envelope 2 or envelope 3, and have that create like a slope when it hits, like so. Now, if we assign that decay to something like the warp position, let's go here, and then we've got, what is it, or fold. Let's assign it to fold, to envelope 2. And absolutely nothing's going to happen. Isn't that wonderful? Well, I think we've all learned something today. Now something's happening. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, what are you up to? Okay, I need to do something with this release, so it takes longer to... Ooh, okay, that's cool. And now what I'm going to do is add some unison to that. And again, make it really wide. Oh, simple and delectable. Like a fine wine. I don't know what I'm talking about. Fine tea. Actually, that's quite nuanced and delicious. That's an Earl Grey. That's what's known as an Earl Grey. Are there hints of bergamot as well? Wonderful. So refreshing. Tip, tap, top. Right, next thing we need to do is put an echo on there. And this is so we can really have it die out over time. Like, that's a bit much. Calm down. Something like that. Add some more feedback. Ooh, lasers. Add some reverb to that. And it's as simple as that. Because now we can bring that in really quiet at the beginning of the loop. I think I'm going to have that happen quicker though. So let's go to that MIDI control pitch bend. And I actually want it to be down here at this point. And so it's just boom, like that. And let's put it down an octave. Yeah. Oh, okay, taxi. Right, so now let's get this thing mixed and we'll add a little bit, we'll do some arrangement too. Because how do you keep something like that interesting for more than, you know, like one loop? You've got to keep it interesting for the whole track. So let's arrange it. There aren't many more elements to add, although there will be some, but I need you to let me know. I need you to let me know. If you're enjoying this so far, please give me a hell yeah or an amen, brother. If you're feeling holy, then I know and I love it and I love you. So thank you. Right, so let's mix as we go as well. So I'm just going to duplicate the whole thing. Like so. Get rid of things we don't need. There's a lesson for life. Deep. Yeah, we do go into philosophy on this channel actually. So if you're in need of some $10 philosophizing, I'm your man. Right, let's just do that and then figure out where this stuff's going to come in. So I think we can start safely say we don't want the vocals at the beginning, and we can roll off the kick drum. The classic way to start a lot of dance different music. Just take off the 100 hertz or so. And we'll take out the sub bass. And now we bring in the sub bass and the kick drum. That drum's a bit annoying, isn't it? Let's add a little bit of room reverb. We won't take in the... We won't bring in that harmony yet.
Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party.
Completely take out the
bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like.
And then we can go back to just the beat like that. But we want to bring the synths. So you can get a groove going without that much going. Right. Kick. Build up. Right, this is the bit that I wanted to show you. So similar to that pitch bend, but the other way, we want to create a riser at this point. And we're going to do that with a saw wave again. Take it down in volume. And we need to go to MIDI. Look at that, isn't it pretty? No, they're not sponsoring me, but they did give me a couple of these cool keyboards, so thank you, Rolly. And where was I? Pitch bend, that's right. I'm going to do the pitch bend range 48, so that's several different octaves. I think that's 4 octaves, isn't it? 12 times 4. So, for this build-up, which we can start here, let's do a really big one. A real big boy. That might be too long, actually. You're insane, Will. That's crazy. Yeah, we'll do it half that length. Don't get ahead of yourself, son. So, we'll start on the root note, like so. And then we'll pitch bend it. We'll pitch bend the living bejesus out of it. We'll start low. Alright, so this is what's happening. This is our Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type riser. So we start like this. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. And then we can go up. Get up on the floor and get sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor. That's it. So we go up from there. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Taking the other things down. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Let's drop. Get up on the floor and get. And then we drop. Then we drop. We drop it back to having everything, or rather like full bass and everything, but the vocals are off. No, I said the vocals are off. The next day. Whoa, 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 whoa. I've come back to this a day or two later and I can hear some improvements that I can make. So what I've done is I've changed a couple of things in the project. You can still download it for free below, and then you can pick apart what I've done to create this extra groove. And that's just because I kind of felt like it. So let's have a listen to the finished thing in 3, 2, 1. Go. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. This is how we like to party. Sex, pills, bass and thrill. Get up on the floor and get. And then we just go back to after that build. Nice, simple and delectable. Yeah, that would work. That would work on the floor for sure. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, then download the project file, all the samples and stuff. I won't give you the splice sample because it's not mine to give, but you can find it simple enough. You can use the splice link below if you want to help support the channel, and check out our Accelerator program if you, like our other students, want to get signed to some of the world's biggest labels and tour the world as a DJ and a producer. If you enjoyed this, then let me know in the comments, what do you want me to cover next on this channel? I absolutely love doing these in the style of videos, and yeah, I hope you enjoy them as much as I did. And I put another video there which is more of a tech house vibe, but again, if you like this style of music, you'll definitely find that useful. So check that out next after you have liked, shared and subscribed. Thank you very much. Cheers and happy producing. Oh yeah, see you over there.